Today we'll be talking about the difference between small and large diaphragm condenser microphones. Some typical budget but excellent examples that I have here are the SE Electronics sE7. This is a small diaphragm condenser microphone retailing at around $120, as well as the Rode NT1. This is the Rode NT1. It's a large diaphragm condenser microphone, and you can find it in B&H for about $185. I'll be switching between these mics so you can hear how they sound. But what you'll probably find is that without earphones, it's pretty difficult to pick up on the difference, especially after it's been treated in DaVinci Resolve. So at the end, I'll share the raw audio with no voice isolation, no dialogue leveling, or EQ modifications in my untreated room, so you can hear the difference between each mic. But first, what is a condenser mic? A condenser mic pretty much comprises of a charged diaphragm, and that's the thin membrane that vibrates to capture sound, as well as a backplate, which paired together essentially form a capacitor. The vibrations of that diaphragm due to sound frequencies change the distance between the diaphragm and the backplate, and that in turn changes the capacitance of the unit. And it's that capacitance that can then be used to create an electrical signal. The primary difference between a small and a large diaphragm condenser microphone lies in the size of the diaphragm. Large diaphragm condensers typically have diaphragms of 1 inch or larger, whilst small diaphragm condensers have diaphragms around about 1/2 inch or less in diameter. It's worth noting though that the condenser mic design, which utilizes capacitance, versus say a dynamic mic, which utilizes electromagnetic induction, results in greater sensitivity to quieter sounds and higher frequencies compared to its counterparts like the dynamic mic or a lavalier mic or a ribbon mic. And that's because it's better at picking up on subtle sound pressure variations, i.e. frequencies, more effectively. So that's enough of that. Without any further ado, let's crack on with it. So this is the SE Electronics sE7. This is a small diaphragm condenser microphone. It's also referred to as a pencil mic due to its form factor. It looks like a pencil. What you might notice about the sE7 is that it nicely focuses on the sound source and quite importantly rejects background noise, which is ideal for voiceovers and podcasts and mid to high range sound effects. And most notably, it's perfect for use in untreated rooms. It's a no-fuss solution to great studio sound without much consideration. So you might notice this gives your voice a bright, articulate quality with some crisp detail, but you might find also it's lacking slightly in warmer, bassier tones. Just to add, this mic also includes a switchable 80 Hz high-pass filter to cut low-frequency rumble like desk vibrations, and it also has a 20 decibel switch for handling louder sources, but I'm not currently using that here. Moving on, this is the Rode NT1, a large diaphragm condenser mic. And this type of mic is renowned for its warm, smooth character. The frequency response of a large diaphragm mic is tuned for a fuller, more rounded sound with subtle boosts to the low mids, which you might notice, and that adds warmth and body to your voice, giving it a rich broadcast quality tone. You might notice that the high frequencies are smoother compared to the sE7 and slightly rolled off. And this is because the large diaphragm provides a slower transient response to its frequencies compared to the sE7. So that's going to result in a more polished and cohesive sound that flatters most voices and hopefully mine as well. The downside, however, is if you're like me and you're recording in your apartment, you'll need to take more consideration of the treatment of the room and the positioning within it. Some examples might be ensuring that your mic audio meter isn't reading anything once you've switched everything off, like your aircon, and if it is, lower the levels on your preamp. Another might be not placing it too close to a wall, or if you're in a perfectly symmetrical room, not placing it dead center of that room where you're going to encounter constructive reverberation. And another one to consider is probably the most important, and that's ensuring that there's very little perfectly flat surfaces for the sound to reverberate off. So you don't need any special dedicated equipment for this. Rugs, throws, carpets, curtains, sofas, they're all reasonable everyday items to somewhat remedy this. And then when you throw DaVinci Resolve's AI voice isolator into the mix, it will make you think twice before covering your walls with sound-treated foam. All right, so let's hear these mics unprocessed. As I mentioned before, I've disabled all voice isolation, dialogue leveling, and EQ modifications in DaVinci Resolve 20. So what you're hearing right now is just the raw sound. So what I'm going to do is recite a test phrase with the sE7 and then with the NT1. Feel free to go back and forth between both clips to see if you can spot the difference. Condenser mics use a charged diaphragm, which acts as a capacitor to capture sound. This makes them more sensitive to subtle pressure variations, unlike dynamic mics. Condenser mics use a charged diaphragm, which acts as a capacitor to capture sound. This makes them more sensitive to subtle pressure variations, unlike dynamic mics. So that's it. The sE7 excels at clear, detailed voice capture, but lacks bassier tones. However, this trade-off ensures that the background noise is kept to a minimum, and it makes for a quick, minimal fuss setup. But on the other hand, the NT1 brings warmth, polish, and broadcast quality, but it picks up on unwanted noise in an untreated room, requiring more consideration of mic positioning and room treatment. Personally, I find it difficult to tell the difference between the two on a smartphone, and I love the no-fuss attributes of the sE7. But when I want that extra bit of broadcast quality, it's going to be the NT1 every single time. So what do you think? Which of these two types of mics would suit your needs better? Feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, give it a like and a subscribe for more upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, I'll see you in the next one.